Friday. All right, so let's discuss all of this now with former ATF executive Matthew Horace and criminal defense attorney and constitutional attorney Paige Pate. All right, good to see both of you. So Matthew, let me begin with you. Let's talk about this video because it was the key in triangulating El Chapo's position. What do investigators look at? How do they dissect this video in order to centralize his location?
Well, Frederica, they're going to be looking to try to determine when the video was created. They're going to be using facial recognition software so that they know that this is who we're dealing with. They're going to be pinging off of cell phones and other communications. Let's face it, there was a lot of communication that had to happen for this interview to actually occur, and this trip sounds like something out of a movie scene. There was a lot of coordination, and therefore it leaves them vulnerable to be compromised.
And Paige, what kind of legal trouble are we talking about for the actors? We know Mexican authorities say they want to talk to Sean Penn, presumably also Del Castillo. But who first? I imagine the U.S. wants to talk to him too. Who has jurisdiction to have those conversations first?
Well, I think U.S. authorities will probably defer to their Mexican counterparts at this point. It seems to be the case that they're letting them take the lead in this. But eventually, everybody's going to want to talk to Sean Penn. And while I think, based on what we know right now, he's not going to be charged with any crime, he's certainly going to have to answer a lot of questions. He went into the belly of the beast. He knows where this location is. He saw these associates. So I know that investigators are going to want to talk to him, get all of the details possible, and then maybe use him as a witness if El Chapo does come to the United States and face trial.
And if it were come to any kind of charging, what would be the crime?
Well, under federal law in the United States, there are a couple of different crimes that he could be charged with. One is concealing or harboring a fugitive. Now, what that requires is, number one, you know the guy's a fugitive. No question here. Everyone knew El Chapo was a fugitive.
But the harboring?
That's the hard part. Did Sean Penn do anything to help El Chapo avoid being arrested? And I haven't seen anything or heard anything yet to suggest that he did. And the same is true with another crime, accessory after the fact. Yes, he knew this guy had committed a crime or at least been charged with that, but did he do anything to help him avoid punishment? So far, we haven't seen that.
Right, and especially if he didn't know where he was, if he's being, escorted to all these locations, he may not be in a position, this I imagine would be his attorney's argument, be in a position to tell authorities where he is?
Well, there's no obligation for him to go to authorities and say, I've seen El Chapo and this is where he is. He doesn't have an affirmative duty to do that. But they're going to question him because certainly he apparently had no blindfold. He saw where he was going. And if they can find this location, perhaps they can pursue some of the other folks involved in the offense.
Okay. And so, Matthew, how do you see this potentially playing out in terms of the U.S. and Mexico working together to get as much information as possible? I mean, after all, he is in custody, and Mike Penn's attorneys argue, well, he may not have, advertently let you know where he is, but I inadvertently assisted in the capture.
Well, surely you would hope that at this point that the United States and Mexico are all over electronic communications, some data mining. Let's face it, El Chapo was no two-bit street thug. He was one of the most notorious wanted people in the world, and therefore the U.S. is justified in extending out our investigative resources to locate him and now go back to the table and reevaluate communications, cell communications, email communications, data mining, and anything it takes to determine who helped with this meeting and who helped with keeping him as a fugitive from justice.
And then, Paige, is the trouble different for the Mexican actress versus the American actor?
Perhaps, because it seems like she's had a longer time, more communication with El Chapo. Maybe she's done something in the past to give him some money, some assistance, help him avoid detection. If she's done any of those things, then yes, she could certainly face charges.
All right, Paige Pate, Matthew Horace, thank you so much. Appreciate